some dude contacted me, said he was 16 years old, wanted my advice on vape gear, mechanical mods, atomizers, etc. All vape related. Hey kid, what are you trying to do? Get me in trouble for statutory vape? Get out of here, you minor! FYI, you need to be 18 years of age or older to vape. Now that I mentioned that bit of common sense, today we're going to be talking about the Kangertech Aerotank. What do I think about this thing? Okay, I've been vaping on this Aerotank for about a week and a half now. I've gone through 4 different coil heads. You know, my experience has been pretty good. This device, for me, does not produce a great vaping experience. It doesn't produce a bad vaping experience, but it's, you know, it's right in the middle. It's good, okay? It's average. I think that any newbie just getting into vaping would be satisfied with this product. This thing, compared to the Nautilus tank, it's not even close. I get a much better vaping experience off the Nautilus tank than I do this one. It's above average, especially for a clear miser. This, average. You got to factor in this thing, $26, a Nautilus, $35 to $40. You're going to be spending on average $10 to $15 more than for something like this, but you do get what you pay for. This is a bottom fed clear miser, okay? And the heads that come with this system are dual coil. The reason why this thing is called the Aerotank is because it has a new airflow control system. The idea is that you have this ring down here at the bottom. You've got 3 holes, 1, 2, and 3. When you want to tighten the airflow up, you just screw this ring counterclockwise. It covers up those holes and it tightens your airflow. You want to loosen the draw up, you screw it clockwise to leave those holes open. Okay, so this is wide open. I'm vaping this sucker at 4 volts, which is 8 watts. This is a 2 ohm dual coil head system in here. Here we go. Vapor production is good. So wide open, I can get good lung inhale. It's nothing like the Nautilus. And I'm gonna be comparing it to the Nautilus. That's just the way it is. Wide open, I'm getting a good lung fill, a lung hit. A lung hit is basically when you take it straight to your lungs. You're not doing a mouth to lung. And for me, it's a little tight. This draw wide open is equivalent to the ProTank version 1. It's nothing too spectacular. If I had to guess, it would be like vaping on a 1.3, 1.4 millimeter air hole. And for me, that's not good if this thing's wide open. If this thing's wide open, you should be able to get a really good draw. I mean, it should be airy, but that's not the case. So I'm going to close her down a little bit. I'm going to take it up, cover those holes halfway. The draw, it gets a little bit tighter, but it's not a huge difference. And I'm covering half the holes up. Half the holes! Take it up a little bit more, cover 3/4 of these holes. Still, great vapor production. Draw, a little bit tighter. It's not that much of a difference, to be honest with you. I'm still able to get a good lung inhale. I would say the draw is equivalent to something like the ProTank 2. Take it up even a little more, cover up majority of those holes. Okay, now the draw starts to get a little bit more tight. See if I can take a lung inhale. Oh yeah, still take a lung inhale. It's not the best flavor in the world, but I mean, it's about average. It's still good flavor. For any newbie, you're gonna be satisfied. Take it up all the way, no airflow. So if you want the best flavor off this device and you don't mind taking mouth to lung inhales, taking this airflow control ring up pretty much all the way, just a little bitty gap right there, you have some airflow coming through, you're gonna get the best flavor off that setup right there. I find that this thing performs the best at 8 watts. If as soon as you bump up to something like 9 watts, 9.5 watts, you don't get a dry hit, but you lose flavor tremendously. You take it up above 10 watts, and you start to get those dry, silica type hits. So 8 watts is the way to go, IMO. The drip tip is made of stainless steel. The top portion of this device is made of stainless steel. The bottom portion of this device is not the same material as the upper base, top portion, and the drip tip. It comes with a Pyrex tank, just like all your Pro tanks do. The heads that came with this device haven't changed. Kanger has not changed the way they engineered the heads. I will say this though, the way that they've wrapped the coils have been way more consistent than they were in the ProTank 3 that came with the dual coil heads. I've gone through 4 coil heads and they've all been consistent. They've all vaped at 8 watts, pretty much the same. The way the coil heads are set up, you have one wick and coil sitting on another wick and coil, and in between that wick and coil is another piece of silica. Yeah, I'm getting good flavor. It's just not the best. The material at the base is not stainless steel. It's just cheap looking IMO. The airflow control system is not even close to the airflow control system in the Nautilus. In the Nautilus, you had 4 different air hole sizes. You had a 0.9 millimeter, a 1.1, a 1.4, and a 1.8. There was a big difference in all airflow settings. I mean, you could feel it. With this, they should have opened up those holes a little more. Actually, I don't even like the way this airflow control system is. The ring is not even secure. It doesn't click into place like the Nautilus, so you can easily bump it with your finger, and it's just gonna move up and down. It's just like when I did that review on that Fogger V1 a while ago and I really laid into it. The airflow control is very similar to that. There's not really an in-between. There's either a wide open or there's a totally shut off. Not good. I feel like Kanger is just throwing together their products just to get them out in the market. You guys have put out what? 4, 5, 6 different bottom fed clearmiser systems, and you haven't changed the way these coil heads are engineered yet? I'll tell you one good thing. I have vaped about 10 tanks through this device, and I have had maybe 1 gurgle in the whole time that I've been vaping on this device, and that's with all 4 coil heads. This device has not leaked on me once. Not once. Now we're gonna go ahead and dive down. I'm gonna show you guys how this thing disassembles, assembles, all that jazz. Let's go. Here's the box the Aerotank comes in. The way Kangertech packages their products, I mean, it's fantastic. It really is. Really professional. Inside, we've got your instructional manual. On the back of the instructional manual, all the parts, how they go together. Inside, the instructional manual shows how to fill her up. You've got your tank. Comes with 2 coil heads, a beauty ring for your ego devices. The Aerotank is made up of 6 individual parts. You got your drip tip, you've got your upper base, you've got your top portion of this device that has the positive post shaft and a section for your drip tip. Pyrex tank, and here is the base section. This has your coil head, which screws into the base section, okay? So the base, that's where your coil head screws into, those threads. Here is your airflow control ring. Screw this ring all the way down. You got 1 air hole, as you can see. That's 1, that's 2 right there, and then 3. So 3 air holes, that's wide open. To tighten up the draw, just screw the airflow control ring counterclockwise. And as you can see, it's covering those holes up. But I don't feel any difference until I start to cover those holes up completely. There's no really in between. There's either a wide open or a really tight draw. And I think that they should improve this to make it to where there's more of an in between, like the Nautilus tank. There's no locking mechanism. I mean, this thing is free to move any way it pleases. If you're vaping, you can hit it with your finger. It can potentially move. You could lock it up and have no airflow. 510 threads, compatible with all my devices. Here is your coil head, and this stem comes off like so. Okay, so you got your 1 wick and coil sitting up top, but between this top wick and the bottom wick is another piece of silica. So unlike the Nautilus coil head or the BDC coil heads that sit perpendicular, this sits pretty much on top of each other. One big plus about these coil heads is they make it to where it's really easy to take apart, disassemble, and rebuild. You got the threads right there at the base of the head. Head screws into the tank just like that. This is how it goes together. You got your base and your coil head, and these threads right here on the base screw into the threads right here in the upper base. Slide this over. And in this little channel right here is the shaft of your coil head. Then you've got the glass tank. The top of the positive post shaft, as you can see, these threads down here, fits just like this and threads into the upper base shaft. To fill this thing up, just unscrew the base, okay? Then all you got to do is just fill her up in between that base wall and the positive post shaft. When you're done filling her up, pop the base and the coil head back in there, screw her in, and she's good to go. See how from here up, the metal on this device is not the same material as the metal at the base? To me, that just looks cheap. I wish it all matched. Alright, so that is the Kanger Aerotank. I hope that helps. I purchased this device from a company called myvaporstore.com. It cost me $26. I know what you're asking right now. Which device do you prefer? This device or the Nautilus? Definitely the Nautilus. It's only $10 more. Airflow control system is way better. Holds more e-liquid. The coil heads in the Nautilus give me better flavor. Go with the Nautilus. That's just my opinion. This is Rip Trippers. Remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.